Like he said, counterpunch boxing news. Counterpunch boxing news. Like he said, counterpunch boxing. Counterpunch boxing. Counterpunch boxing news. What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live. What do we got here? Marlon Thornell. Oh, good afternoon, Kurt. Thanks for the best boxing news channel on the tube. God bless. Thank you, Marlon. Boxing junkie. Let me guess. Wilder's scared of AJ? Something like that. I don't think it's scared of AJ, but we're going to get right into this ASAP. Let's see what the fans got to say. Absolutely. Gang 1, Liverpool in the house. Kurt, UK, NWJ, bars. Kurt, pitting Paul. Yo, Kurt, from Victor Rodriguez. What's up? What's up, Victor? In the house. Look. Who else we got? Who else we got? Think AJ beats him, no doubt. AJ Wilder, do you know, and you guys have to understand how important this fight really is. Okay? Best listen ever. Gang number 1. Get your gun. Bars. Big up your chest. I'll show you the rest. Let's go. Kurt, do some impressions. Hey, Rimas is coming. It's coming real soon. Marshall, Wilder team want to get as much money as possible from him losing to AJ. Now it ruins that. Well, I look at boxing like this. Boxing, people, is almost like poetic justice. What do I mean by that? A lot of times things happen, a lot of unfair shit happens in boxing. Airsism, bless up. Thomas, Vise, 50-50, Wilder, AJ, bars. Let me tell you something. Sometimes in boxing, the more you try to control something, an organism like boxing, the sport that I hate, that I love so much, when you try to control it, it ends up controlling you. And that's a fact. I think it's one of those things where a lot of people try to control what will be. So they concoct a lot of shit. They take fights, they make fights, and they don't understand they're dealing with human lives, human ambition, human motivation, human experience. And they put two humans in there together. Whenever you got two humans, regardless of opposition, regardless of a lot of different things, boxing is so primitive to the point where you'll have fights like Terry Norris, Keith Mullins. You guys don't know Terry Norris and Keith Mullins, you should check that out. But that was an attempt to cherry pick. Okay? Michael Bade, yo Kurt, what's up with you? Big up to you, Michael. Luca Mora, AJ's life will be on the line. Everybody's life is on the line every time they get into the ring. Ding, ding. Bars. Bryce Productions. Hi. Same shit all the time, right? Peddling Paul. Listen. Wilder will catch AJ. Plus, I think Wilder is more game. I've seen that look on AJ's face when he's hurt, like he don't want to be in there. Think Wilder is too much. Marlon Thornhill. I think Wilder has more savagery. I think deep down, when it comes down to it, as of right now, I've seen Wilder in situations where he's either going to knock you out or you're going to put him out. Bars. Thomas, promoters with egos. If PBC had AJ, you would never hear of Wilder, and they would protect AJ. You would hear of Wilder. Wilder would just be another person for AJ. And then Wilder would then have to make his name off the strength of AJ. But understand, Wilder did that anyway. Bars. He made his own way. And it was quite impressive the way he did it. A lot of people think I'm shitting on Wilder when I say that Wilder made his name off saying the name of AJ. But it's true. It's nothing to really be ashamed of. You know, it's all about calling a fighter out. Now, the question is, and that this is exactly what this podcast is about, okay? Are you calling that fighter out to fight that fighter, or are you calling that fighter out for financial gain? See, what we learned yesterday is something I've known 4 years now. Okay, I believed 4 years ago that Team Wilder did not want that fight with AJ. They didn't want that fight with AJ unless it was a deal that was too good to be true, and they knew where the goalpost was. They knew that, you know what? We know how to push it. We know how much and what to ask for versus what we expect to get. And what Wilder didn't understand was, our Team Wilder, Shelly Finkel, Al Heyman, that they were dealing with business-minded people. Okay? So we got to go all the way back to 2018 before we can even start about 2022. Are you guys ready to go with me? You guys ready to take this journey? Let's do it. The real reason is his team is ruled out by people with grudges and networks networks need being looked out for, not Wilder's career. No, Wilder's career was looked out for. It is a network war. It's a cold network war that a lot of people don't even understand. See, Wilder was that guy that had all the perfect attributes. Wilder's downfall was that they figured, you know what? We're gonna knock out Tyson Fury, and on the strength of Tyson Fury, we're gonna take out a guy that is no longer what he used to be. That's why we're fighting him. That's the PBC way. Hold on, guys. It's just ridiculous. Okay. It's easy to explain. The same thing and the same strategy that Andy Ruiz used, that was the same thing that Deontay Wilder used. Okay, the same people orchestrated those fights. Okay, this wasn't something that was new. The waiting game has been around for so long, to the point where you don't have to be better than a fighter no more. You can just wait a fighter out, because boxing is such a brutal sport. To the point, the wear and tear, the time, father time, it will break you down eventually. And through observing what a fighter goes through each and every fight, they're getting punched, they're getting hit, they're getting attacked, they're getting damaged each and every time. Doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter. Listen, how many of you guys understand what do Pernell Whitaker, James Lights Out Tony, Those two fighters got in common. Just those two. Because I'm trying to think of another one and really be fair about it. They are both punch drunk fighters. That means you talk like you hear James Toney, he's like that because he's punch drunk. But you guys also understand he was one of the most defensive minded boxers that we have. It was damn near impossible to hit him in the head. So if that tells you anything about boxing, it should tell you that it doesn't matter how defensive you are, how many times you block punches, it's the punches that hit you is what causes damage. So you're still going to absorb damage. That's the real deal. Okay? And fighters and promoters, you know, they got a cognitive mind and they see, you know what? That motherfucker's slipping. You think Al Heyman didn't see Luis Ortiz's legs buckle when Charles Martin punched his ass and he went down from a damn jab? You think he wasn't ready to feed Luis Ortiz some Cuban octopus food to Andy Ruiz bars? Do you think for a fucking minute that he didn't play that fight in his mind? Why do you think that fight was made? That fight was made because they knew that Luis Ortiz was beaten by Father Time. Yes, bars. Absolutely. They knew that shit. The same thing that they thought was going to happen to Luis Ortiz, they thought happened to Tyson Fury. So they were thinking in their mind, you know what? The best thing to do is to fight Tyson Fury now. He's been doing coke for 3 years. He's been 400 pounds. He ain't been in the ring for a long time. He's been drinking like a fish, slamming whores, you know, having a good old time. And they were like, you know what? Deontay Wilder will knock him right out. But did that happen? No, it didn't. That's exactly why boxing is its own organism. Do you think AJ and Wilder will ever happen? I don't know. I really don't know at this point. Maybe if they both take another L. Maybe if Wilder gets beat again and that fight is still there. Maybe if Eddie Hearn even really cares. I mean, he might, you know, Eddie Hearn might look at Wilder if he gets beat by somebody else, and if he gets beat bad. Like, let's say Elenius blows him out, upsets him. Because that's how they're looking at Elenius. Elenius is a guy that's ready to go. He's good enough, or he's done well enough in his career to have a great comeback to Deontay Wilder. So if Deontay Wilder beats him, Deontay Wilder will beat another guy that has beat Adam Kalnaki, which was an undefeated fighter, that also took out the former IBF champion, Charles Martin, you know, along with every other motherfucker he been in there with, except for the Nordic Nightmare. So it is what it is. We got a super chat in the building. D-Town Blaster. Man, where you been? D-Town in the house. They've been afraid of AJ. Too high risk for Wilder. Well, Wilder, look, and it's all the waiting game. Do you understand that Shelly Finkel, why did Shelly Finkel, before the Usyk rematch, why did he all of a sudden have interest in want to fight AJ then and then turn around and say, you know what, we're busy? This motherfucker sounds like that brain from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yo, we're busy. You know what I mean? Wilder must quack. He ducks so much. Kurt, why these Fury fanboys love your channel? Quan, Big Guns, they love that channel because they know I tell the truth. See, I tell the truth about Tyson Fury. I don't kiss Tyson Fury's ass just like I don't kiss Wilder's, just like I don't kiss AJ's. If them motherfuckers are lying, or I feel they up to something, or if I feel that they're doing good or whatever they're going through, I'm going to report it. That's what I do. You know, you got to only ask questions, and the questions, if they're good questions to ask, don't get mad because you're a fan. You know? Kurt, did you know that Shakur Stevenson was fighting in Newark, New Jersey this Friday. The fight is getting no promotion. Smooth Will. Consensal, right? Well, and you know what? Consensal will give Stevenson a better fight than the guy that's supposed to beat Consensal, because I don't think he did. Oscar Valdez did not beat fucking Consensal. He didn't. Consensal was a little-known Brazilian fighter, and because he was from Brazil, Brazil is a UFC country. They don't have backing. You know, the last motherfucker that was a good boxer from Brazil that got traction was Acelino Freitas. How long was that ago? 25 years ago? I know a good 20. You know, he fought, who did he fight? He fought Casamayor. He fought Casamayor. Did he fight someone else? I can't remember who else. But other than that, that was that. Brazil is a UFC place. Brazil is known for big booted ass Brazilians and other beautiful women. Capoeira and UFC. That's it. No, Carl Froch exposed it was Eddie Hearn who was playing games, and Barry Hearn and AJ said that they were not ready for the fight in 2017 and wanted to wait until 2020. Barry did say something like that, but that doesn't mean that the fight wasn't on the table for fucking Deontay to take. Luca Mora, it didn't mean that. It didn't mean that Deontay had to be a dumb dipshit and avoid that fight and then turn around and not get that fight, take another fight, get a draw, then get mad at Tyson Fury because he picked the best option for him. You know what the best option for Tyson Fury was? To sign a contract for 115 million pounds. Or no, 150 million dollars. I think it was like 80 million pounds. Because he offered Deontay the fight because he knew, I'm getting mine. He said, I'm getting mine. Hey, look, Wilder, take this $4 million, but you got to fight 2 more times before fighting me later this year. Some shit like that. How did it all begin between Wilder and Joshua? That's easy. Joshua was up and coming. Joshua was making them greenbacks. Wilder wanted some of that. It started when Joshua knocked out Charles Martin. When he knocked out Charles Martin, he became the IBF heavyweight champion of the world. Deontay Wilder was the WBC champion of the world. Wilder wanted a piece of that ass. And Joshua told him, look, why don't you fucking guys go fight somebody else? Because see, at the same time, understand that cherry picking is a real thing. Fighting Anthony Joshua, I think he was, 15 fights in at that time? I think he beat Charles Martin on his 15th fight when he did that. I mean, when he really did that. They thought, hey, you know what? We're going to take the Joshua fight because they already heard what Charles Martin made. Charles Martin made 6 to 8 million. They wanted some of that fucking money. Oh yeah, they did. Now, did they respect the punching power of Wilder? They should have. I know damn well Eddie Hearn did. But see, in 2018, they actually gave him an offer. Like, okay, you want to fight Anthony Joshua, you're going to get this much money. And it was a lot more than 6 to 8 million. In fact, it was 2 times that amount of money. So if you offer somebody 2 times that amount of money for Charles Martin, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Math is math. If Charles Martin made $6 to $8 million, then they offer Deontay Wilder 12.5. Who's winning? Who do they respect more? The guy that pays more, or the guy that they paid less? The guy that they paid more. Wilder has no defense and will get knocked out. Poor footwork and poor balance against a young heavyweight with power. He's going to sleep. Vizio W. I mean, that's if the fight happens, but I don't look at that type of fight like that, because if the fight happens, There have to be some type of belief, confidence, faith, speak it, believe it, receive it from Team Wilder that they can win that thing. I don't think that they're going to go into a fight with AJ. I don't think they will ever go into a fight with AJ knowing that they can't win. Because I don't think Al Heyman or Shelly Finkel would want a fight for that reason with Deontay Wilder. Also given, speaking of Shelly Finkel, okay, Shelly Finkel is a guy that I believe really looks after his fighters. And when I mean looks after his fighters, he really cares for them. I think, and I believe in my heart, that Shelly Finkel loves Deontay Wilder. I don't think Shelly Finkel is in the game to hurt Wilder. I think Shelly Finkel likes Wilder. I think they have a good relationship together. But I also think that Shelly Finkel knows where and what to do. And that's what we're talking about. That's why Shelly Finkel did not want Wilder, the quote-unquote baby champion, to fight someone like Klitschko, because Klitschko was the man at that time, people. Okay, so I don't think he wanted to hurt him, put him in a situation where he didn't think he could win, or any of that type of stuff. Put him in these difficult fights that he'd probably get hurt. The only pain that Wilder really went through was the Wilder fight. Ortiz hurt him one time, and his injuries. That's the only injuries that he dealt with. Okay? I understand you want views, but this title is clickbait. Okay. Almost every video you make is Wilder hate. Okay. Wilder hate. Yeah, you don't watch this channel enough, do you? I can't stand when fucking people like you come on here and say something like that. Wilder downfall was he believed he had all the perfect attributes. Peddling Paul, he believed his power was enough to beat any opponent. And it was proven that it's not. Now, cocksuckers like Jers Davis, you would think that's hating because you're a casual ass fan that love Wilder. It's the whole thing to respect and have a sense of decency for every fighter, not just one. I'm from the UK, but watch all fights as a neutral and always have. Mr. Box, counterpunch to you. Why does he have carved on walls, secret slave map? What the fuck? Wilder has the boxing ability of a journeyman, but with ridiculous power. I mean, I could live with that. They stopped Vladimir from fighting Wilder, protected in my book, because they knew they could make success a business strategy. Well, if you got two heavyweights, one that's not as gifted, the other one that's been a champion for so long, why would you want, and then because you see one's older than the other. Deontay Wilder is 36 years old. Vladimir Klitschko is 40 fucking 5. So you already know. And if you also understand the rumors of when they did spar, you knew that fight wouldn't have been a smart fight for both fighters that you have, unless you didn't give a shit about your fighters, unless you wanted to see your fighter hurt. And again, Shelly Finkel did not want to see Deontay Wilder hurt. I think look, Shelly Finkel looked at Deontay, you know, in a whole different light, and the people don't understand. Shit, you gotta have a heart, people. When you deal with people and you know how good they are, based on what Shelly Finkel said, that's it. Wilder called out AJ for financial gain. He did. But it worked. Name a journeyman that's won a bronze medal. UK crackhead logic. Counterpunch to you, Scance Rants. People forget that Tyson Fury only came back because of Wilder. Wilder was his own demise. He motivated Fury to come back. He gave Fury the shot. Yeah, I mean, he gave Fury the shot, so that's his fucking problem, ain't it? But again, why did you think he gave him the shot? Why do you think he was managed to give Tyson Fury the shot? Because they thought Tyson Fury was shot. They thought it was a damn shot fighter. They gave him that opportunity because they thought, you know what, he was going to knock Tyson Fury out. But then again, can you fault Shelly Finkel for thinking that? Hell, I thought that. I thought, me and a lot of other people thought that Deontay Wilder was going to knock Tyson Fury's ass out in about 6 rounds. Why? Because of everything that I mentioned before. On drugs, drinking, fat, out of shape. Who wins 2020 Mike Tyson versus prime Deontay Wilder? I mean, that's not really fair because why the fuck would you want? Why would you pick a 2020 Mike Tyson, which is 54 years old, against a prime Deontay Wilder? What a fucking dipshit. Warren Jackson. Wilder comes off a beating. He's done. People forgetting that. Okay, Warren Jackson. Why would him coming off a beating mean he's done? I mean, come on now. Team Wilder don't want to play games with Juice and Hearn. Simple. I mean, what games are they playing by offering you offers? See, we go back to that, and you can't answer the fucking question. You go back to splits. You go back to, hey, what's fair is fair. What was fair at the time was the money that they offered him. And honestly, I think they offered him too much. Psycho Crusher, counterpunch to you. Longer you stay in the game, there is no coming back, and the mental is wet, gets crushed. AJ stole his gold medal. He should have even got a bronze. He got beaten by the first round by Savon and later then by the Italian Stallion. Go watch the tape. Okay? Boxing junkie. I absolutely hate when fighters wait until a fighter gets old and look terrible in a fight to make a fight happen. I think that's weak. Boxing junkie. Well, you should hate Andy Ruiz because he did the same shit. And that was even way after the joke started about how old Ortiz was. Ortiz has been old so fucking long. For 5 years, Ortiz has been 50-something, 150, 75, 86. Sparred with Jack Johnson. Yeah. Fury doesn't have an Olympic medal. No, he doesn't. These guys talk about Wilder. He got like 3 losses to 2 midget little fellas. Fury isn't a journeyman. Who said he was? Who said Tyson Fury was a journeyman? Boxing junkie. That's AJ's and Canelo's whole career waiting to age fighters out. Did Canelo wait for Golovkin to get old? Yeah, I think he did. I think Oscar De La Hoya, you have to remember, Oscar De La Hoya was promoting Canelo Alvarez. If you think he didn't have anything to do with the fights that he had, you're a goddamn fool. You're foolish to think that, okay? When you're talking about fighters, Anthony Joshua taking on Vladimir Klitschko at the time, yeah, he was 41. Would he had a better chance of fighting him at 41 versus 39 like when Tyson Fury beat him? Probably so. But was he old even at the time? Yes, he was. He was. Joshua beats Fury if he replicates his performance against Klitschko. He will beat Usyk as well. Next time he needs to go after Usyk relentlessly like Joyce, but Joshua is much harder hitter. Double A, triple B, I don't know. I don't know if that him. I don't think that'll work on Usyk unless just Usyk gets old and tired of fighting that motherfucker. You know. How many times AJ have to get beat up by midgets before Juice fans keep pretending that anyone is scared of him? Well, if that's the case, they should make the fight. If that's the case, Shelly Finkel should stop talking about doing something and actually give him an offer or something. Mike Tyson would clean this division. I believe that. Mike would kick every ass down here, man. I mean, he would whoop Fury because Fury, I don't think Fury's good with smaller fighters, especially with that type of speed that a prime Mike Tyson had. Mike would get up under those little jabs and shit and try and go right for the target. He wouldn't play with Tyson Fury. All that bullshit behind your back. Tyson would have the peekaboo style up and he would be ready to do whatever based on what Tyson Fury attempts to do. He would fuck Tyson Fury up. He would knock out Anthony Joshua like Frank Bruno. He would destroy Joseph Parker. He would just overcome Usyk and he would catch Usyk eventually. Wilder would get socked and mopped too. Wilder has a chance because if Wilder could catch him from a certain distance, because he does have that one-punch power. So if he caught Tyson, he could probably hurt him. But you got to understand something. Tyson is a guy that gets you out of there because he's viciously trained to destroy you. These guys wouldn't stand a chance against Mike Tyson. They won't. So I agree. They wouldn't. They would get destroyed. Because they're scared of AJ. AJ is way stronger than Fury, and then he will knock Wilder out inside 2 rounds. Andre, I want to see it. I want to see that. But see, understand something. I'm going to tell you guys something, and I'll be right back. Check this out. You should give Wilder the benefit of the doubt about that glove gate. I have. Man, I've been over glove gate for 2 fucking years and I'm tired of talking about it. I come here to listen to Kurt and argue with the AJ fans in Scants Double A, Triple B, when is Wilder versus Alenius? October 15th. Mr. Box, we only came here because Kurt is total neutral and when he has to be totally ruthless. Absolutely. I know what money means. I know what true money is. We got a super chat. Dion W, what's good, Kurt? These Wilder comments be having me dead. These folks don't play about Deontay. Hell no. Man, appreciate you bringing that half a duh to the equation. However, let me tell you something. Deontay Wilder is the richest, brokest, I can't say broke. He's the richest, underpaid boxer of this generation. He's probably, all of them are rich, so it don't really matter, but don't fuck with Wilder. People will shut your channel down when you talk about Wilder. Wilder has some juice. The only problem is the same people that go after people that talk about Wilder, Don't support him. Klitschko era was boring. Hell yeah, it was boring. Well, Kurt, as long as Wilder has the atomic right hand, he's always in the fight. Usyk gets him 70-30, AJ KOs or gets knocked spark out. That's it. You guys imagine, and you imagine Deontay Wilder knocking out AJ. That would be some funny shit. He's gonna preach like Roy Jones Jr. Not like Roy, because nobody can do it like Roy Jones. Let's be real, but he's gonna definitely, you know, I told y'all he was scared. Give me this mic. I told y'all that he was a coward. You see what Andy Ruiz did to him. Andy Ruiz is a fat ass Mexican marshmallow. You see what Usyk did. Tyson Fury really right. He is a middleweight. He ain't even a heavyweight. I told him stay his ass where he at because he need to be there before he get knocked the fuck out by me. To this day. Fuck you, Eddie Hearn. To this day. You milking Annabelle. Annabelle been milked. It's time to take her to the slaughterhouse so we can make some calves and some steaks, T-bones, porterhouses, ribeyes, fillets. To this day. Now I'm shutting down Matchroom. I am Matchroom. I'm Match Doom. Me and Shirley Finkel taking it all over. Bye. Wilder's tickets aren't 75. This isn't the UK. Froch made big stadium fights in UK, yet AJ gets the credit. Luka Mora, he just overdid it. Reveal a trip with this Wilder impression. Man, you know Wilder be talking. The man Wilder will go back. They tried to stop me. They tried to deny my presence and my importance. I'm with them. If they know him, they know me. But they know my ass now because I knocked his ass out. AJ, Juice and J, what happened to you? You couldn't even fight me. I want my 50%. Now, you don't get shit because you on the floor, still twitching. I hope I catch a body in the ring because I hope it's you. To this day, I told Eddie Hearn, yeah, you still crying, don't you, bitch? I want to knock him out just to show you that you ain't shit either. Fuck you, him, and Canelo with his old looking ass. I'm going to whoop all y'all. David Benavidez got his head. And I'm going to make sure he dead. Balls. It's where you sound like just like D with his impersonation. Man, Deontay Wilder is kind of savage, man. You got to respect it. Us UK troops just show up and show out, brother. That's it. Peter, Wilder and his fans are all talk. He runs from fights and his fans don't buy the tickets. Peter, I don't think it's up to Wilder. Wilder has people around him that shows him, that tells him exactly who to fight, when to fight. That's it. Wilder might have wanted AJ at the time, but that ain't gonna happen. AJ really has benefited UK boxing in a big way. It has dripped down all the way to lower weight divisions. Guys down there are making good money now. They have Joshua to thank for it. Maybe. I don't know about some lower weight classes. I don't know about that shit. I bought a ticket to go and watch Wilder versus Ortiz. I flew to New York from the UK. Wilder fans and we do buy tickets. That was a good fight though. Jackie Boy Johnson. Kurt, if either Joyce or Parker was convincingly, where does it leave them in the roster of top fighters today? Well, Joyce goes to his next, because eventually what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen with the heavyweight division. If Usyk doesn't fight Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, I see him retiring. He doesn't need the money. And when he retires, all those belts disperse back. All of them disperse. I'm a Wilder fan that's been to 3 of his fights. Nice. I can respect that. If Joyce wins, he gotta be fourth. Well, if he wins, he should be fucking over Andy Ruiz. You know what? Andy Ruiz don't deserve a shot at nobody. Andy Ruiz should fight whoever wins out of Joseph Parker that gotta beat him, or Joseph Parker. Or Joe Joyce. That if he beats Joseph Parker, he would have to fight him then. Salute to everybody. Love boxing. Bass, oh man, counterpunch to you. Serious question. AJ fans, if Wilder becomes unified champion and AJ becomes WBC champion, who is the A side? I don't know. I think they would just have to make that fight 50-50. Because if Deontay Wilder was already WBC heavyweight champion, and then he becomes a unified champion, and then AJ was the 2-time unified champion and becomes the WBC champion, what will happen in that situation where you have to understand the attributes and respect the attributes from both fighters? You have to give them motherfuckers 50-50. Now, if Eddie Hearn tries that, oh, no, mate, he doesn't have a draw. We don't still know who he is, mate. All that bullshit, he's ducking. He don't want that smoke. He didn't want that smoke. Dion W coming in with a half a duck. These curtain impressions are the best. I remember the Joshua Pulev live stream, bro. You had my eyes watering from laughter with that Pulev impersonation. Counterpunch boxing news. You never know. Maybe 2020 Mike Tyson will be a prime Deontay. Look, Bryce, I wouldn't do that because that's not even fair. That's not even fair. It's not. It's not at all. Because you got somebody 54 compared to somebody is 35, I think. Eddie Hearn is an expert at covering up his father's flaws. I don't know anything about his father's flaws. I don't know too much about Barry. But guys, I want you to hold on just a second. I'll be right back. Yeah, he's 36. Kurt had to drop one real quick. Nathan, you crazy. Philip shouldn't have even been in the boxing game still. Who shouldn't been? Kind of punch boxing news. I was just joking with the 2020. I know, man. It's all good. It's all good, man. Had a rough day, man. Had a long filming day yesterday. I got to go back in today. It's going to be crazy again today. Parker has a better team behind him, I believe. Yeah, I mean, I believe he does. I believe he does, definitely. I thought it was funny on your previous channel when you said everybody outboxed Wilder until they got caught, your face reaction, and that what made it funny describing the Ortiz 2 fight. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, that's what happens in every Wilder fight. Don't act like that shit's brand new. Don't act like that's brand new. That shit happens every time. People get comfortable with Wilder. Wilder catches you with a shot, and it's like, BOW! And it's over with. That's what happened to Ortiz. Ortiz thought, ay, este no es fácil, no puede gozarlo, no puede boxeo, and then BOW! Over with. Kurt, no Tyson Fury impression yet. What's going on? Jackie Boy Johnson. Jack, look, I'm not going to make fun of Tyson Fury because he's still mourning the queen. Wilder is always bad-mouthing AJ, but I've never seen any response from AJ. The class is different. No, he called Deontay Wilder a bitch one time, but no, he really didn't. He did. Like, he kind of said, well, for everything he said about me, you know, it starts with a B and then it ends with an H. I'm like, dude, just call the man a bitch. I didn't care for that either. You know, let's be real. Why do you even defend this man? Defend who? Why do you even... A bum with a sledgehammer. Don't worry about it. A bum with a sledgehammer still has a sledgehammer. Absolutely. AJ's scared of Wilder. That's why he don't say nothing. Scance Ranch. You know what? I can't argue with that. That's one thing back about 4 years ago that I did question, honestly. Because I was like, well, I know it's a such thing as class and all, and I know AJ does like to keep things cordial and does pretend that he's not mad and pretends that this doesn't bother him. See, that shit that happened after the Usyk fight, that made me excited because I thought he was just going to get buck wild then. I thought he was going to say, you know what? Fuck Deontay, fuck Usyk, fuck Tyson Fury, fuck everybody that don't like me. I am the new Mike Tyson. I make more money than anybody else. Mike Tyson got beat by Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis, but guess at the end of the day, guess what happened? He made more money than all of them. So I thought that was going to be that opening party for AJ. Just like Canelo Alvarez says, you know, get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here, man. You know, and that he didn't start doing that until he got with Eddie Hearn, right? Okay, I thought AJ was going to do that. And I always questioned, honestly, like, why don't AJ say something like, you know, it's all about character. You got to have character when you I'm like, well, sometimes you got to come out of character when somebody comes out of character with you. Counterpunch. Hey, Kurt, what's happening, man? New surroundings. Are you back on set? Yeah, I got another show I'm working on, man. I'm working on another set. Wilder versus Ruiz will be very interesting. I don't want to see Wilder versus Ruiz because I think Ruiz needs to fight the winner of Joseph Parker and Joe Joyce. Then if he beats that, that means he's fully redeemed himself, not beating up a 50-year-old man. I'm sorry. That does not work. Wilder destroys Ruiz inside 3 rounds. That could happen. Or 9. Because, see, one thing about it, he hasn't fought in over a year. You got to give Wilder the benefit of the doubt. It's ring rust. AJ is not worried about any fighter, brother. He has taken on every challenge, win or lose. He has taken on everyone. AJ is by far a more superior technical fighter than Wilder. Better movement, better use, better this, better that. I understand that. I'm not saying that he's not. But if he gets chinned, it's the end. Bars. AJ is a better boxer, but doesn't have the heart of a champion. Something happened with him. Do you guys think Adrian Broner has the heart of a champion? What's up, my brother? 305, Luis. Deontay Wilder, boom squad. What's up, Luis Santana? What's up, brother? Kind of punch to you. Wilder don't want it in or out of the ring. U.S. North London boys will bring the drama on every team. Bars, that's how you should have said it. AJ beat up a 48-year-old Matt Shelton. You know shit about boxing, Roger Mayweather. AJ Chin is what lets him down. I think it's his head. I still want to see Wilder versus White. White has been quiet after being uppercutted. No, I mean, he called out Joshua. He wanted Joshua again. Having heart is being brave enough to take on the best. That ain't Wilder. Wilder is a damn paper champ, hype job, or whatever. One strong punch, 5 unified champs since his sorry ass got the title. Damn. AJ's chin isn't as bad as people think. He has got up some from it. He got up 4 times for 4 knockdowns. Come on, give him a break. He hasn't been down since, people. Kevin Wright, Wilder got my respect. Hold on, guys. Hold on a second. Wilder will be tired from carrying his gloves in the ring. Skinny people will knock your damn head off. Alexander St. Hill, counterpunch to you. Not sure. I think Wilder might just come through, but Ruiz will have his moments. Styles make fights, and this is a very interesting match between Wilder's hard right against the fast hands of Ruiz. I mean, none of that will surprise me. If Andy Ruiz does everything that he can do, it still won't matter because I don't think Andy Ruiz will do enough to beat Andy Ruiz. Or Deontay Wilder. I just don't think that. AJ is the Mike Tyson of this boxing era, but I believe he beats Wilder and Fury, and both Wilder and Fury are very intimidated by AJ. The negotiations are very controversial. Well, that's one thing I want to break down to you guys while I have damn near all 200 of you guys here. Shelly Finkel admitted that they didn't even respond to Eddie Hearn. Now, all you got to do is ask this question. If Eddie Hearn received a contract or an email or any type of correspondence with Team Wilder and didn't respond, then he goes to a particular station and says and admits that, what the first thing you would say about Eddie Hearn? He's scared, he don't want it, he didn't want it, this is what it is, this is what it was, this is how it goes. That's it. No matter what Wilder is, he's a beast. I really don't think Ruiz has the chance, in my opinion. No, he don't. I don't see like how the styles match up because Wilder's not going to throw punches at him. No one ain't scared of AJ. Canelo and Andre Ward were calling this guy out. Don't be surprised if Inouye calls AJ out. Name the power punchers Wilder shared the ring with. Luis Ortiz, I guess. But that's why I say that Shelly Finkel doesn't really want the fight with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. They like the idea of it. They don't want the fight in reality. They don't. They don't want it because they said they asked for it. And then when it came to them, they said they're not interested and didn't even explain why they're not interested. Someone has to open lines of communication some type of way. And they didn't. And he didn't. But at least, I guess, second-handly, he was like, look, if we get beat by Helenius, none of that matters anyway. Well, that's fine and dandy. No one said that that's not a good idea because you don't want to overlook Helenius because Helenius is a guy that's coming off 2 wins from an undefeated fighter, okay? But understand this also. Helenius is a guy that could also upset Deontay Wilder. And if he knew that, he should have just told that to Eddie Hearn. He didn't even have to say that much. He could have just said, listen, Eddie, I appreciate the offer. He didn't even know what the offer was. He didn't even reply at all. Who the fuck does that? Nobody does that. Nobody in their right mind says and hears from another big, huge promoter, look, we got a huge deal from your fighter, and no one says shit. You know what that sounds like? That reminds me of when Luis Ortiz was offered, what's $5 or $6 million to fight Anthony Joshua, and Jim Jimenez all of a sudden said, you know what? They're lowballing us. You guys remember that? And Luis Ortiz didn't hear nothing. So it's up to Shelly Finkel if he wants to prove, okay? If he wants to prove that he's not afraid or that he has a cordial attitude towards getting that fight done. Fury and Wilder ducked the top 10. Fury just was out 3 years. So Fury just didn't fight at all. Wilder had a manager that protected him. Okay? But that's my counterpunch on that. You guys, love all you all. Thank you for coming in. And everyone has been counterpunched. Peace!